free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
The following podcast is a deep, shallow dive production.
And you're going to love it.
Okay, let's go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. I'm sorry. Seriously, I really am. I am so sorry. I have been very lax with these audio-only podcasts. Actually, I will share something pretty interesting. So, well, first of all, I just have a lot going on business-wise. I'm trying to get a few different ventures off the ground and look at some new opportunities and all that jazz. So anyway, hopefully I'll be reporting back some interesting things along those lines soon. But, you know, this is interesting on the podcast. I have, when I was doing my interviews, for a long time, I thought, man, people are not into the interviews. And, I'd ask various friends like, hey, do you prefer when I just talk or do you prefer the interviews? And honestly, most of the time people were like, I'd rather just hear you. And it's totally different now. At least that's what the data is showing me. My interviews are really getting a lot of listens and almost twice as many as my audio-only podcast. So that's been part of this. I've kind of been like, oh my God, maybe people prefer to hear me interview guests. And if that's the case, you're going to be in luck because I've got two amazing interviews that I'm doing today. And I'll try to get those out this week. And I still have a couple in the queue. So anyway, I do apologize. I really do. I've kind of missed being behind this microphone, but at the same time, maybe it's given people a chance to catch up and all that. I will say, I say that a lot, don't I? I will say. It's a beast, man. This world is a beast right now. Like, what is going on is a beast. Staying on top of all this stuff, like, especially the geopolitical things. I really do want to start pivoting back toward a lot more of the health stuff and a lot more of the AI stuff even. And by the way, for those of you, I said this before a few episodes ago, man, if you have a Gmail or a Google Workplace account, Google is really like raising the bar when it comes to leveraging basically their Gemini into their various products. It's ridiculously good, especially for email, for anybody that is using their phone to write and reply, especially to reply to emails. And if you've got a Gmail account, or I should say a Google Workplace account, it might even be available in the free version of your Gmail. Like, if you have like your name at gmail.com, but there's a little Gemini button, especially on the phone, and it's also on your browser. And you ask it for help writing an email, and it is ridiculously good, especially for the work-related stuff or anything related to what you need to get done in terms of, replying to, customer service oriented things and all that. So, man, things have come so far, so fast with this AI integration. All right, anyway, I'm going to get to all that. I'm going to get back into all that, and then I've got some good health guests coming on and all that jazz. Okay, what did I want to talk about? All right, here's what I want to talk about. Man, what is going on in terms of the Republican Party, MAGA, and just in general? Let's talk about this for a little bit. So think about 60 days ago, 75 days ago. Remember how crazy it was in terms of Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens basically attacking Nick Fuentes. Remember when that happened? And that was kind of the first time, in all honesty, I lost a little bit of respect for Tucker and Candace because I thought they were a little out of line the way they were going at Nick. So this is crazy. I looked the other day at Inside Spotify for Podcasters, or Spotify for Creators, as it's called now. There's a way where it ranks your episodes. And this is wild. My number one episode of all time, I'm talking of the 300 and who knows what I'm on, 80 something episodes. My current now number one, and this has all taken place over the past 30 days, my number one listened to episode ever is episode number 352, Candace Owens versus Nick Fuentes. How crazy is that? So obviously people are going into Spotify or Apple Podcasts or something, and they must be searching for Nick Fuentes. And I guess my episode is coming up as something, because that episode now is literally my number one episode ever, followed by episode number 370, which talked about Charlie Kirk, who benefits, who reacts to Charlie Kirk's death. How crazy is that, though? The Nick Fuentes thing is pretty nuts. And man, that kid has gone absolutely bonkers mainstream. And well, I shouldn't say mainstream yet, but he's really upped his profile. If you did not see, he ended up going on Tucker Carlson. He did an interview on Tucker Carlson. Oh, I think I did talk about that. You know, they went from being visceral against each other to it was an excellent episode. It was a very enlightening episode between the two of them. Now, Candace is still, you know, she talks about Nick obviously now. She still says, you guys know I don't like Nick Fuentes because of the way he treated me, which again, God, I hate to say it, but man, that is definitely a strike against Candace, because if anything, she treated Nick poorly during that interview. But watch, I bet you, mark my words, I bet you in a week or two, there will be another sit down between Nick and Candace. And I guarantee you it'll be much more civil, much more cordial in terms of their interaction with each other versus that first one. So it makes me think, was all of that, you know, by design? I don't know. I mean, it's plausible. It's definitely plausible. Obviously, you know, maybe they coordinated that between the three of them by design to say, hey, let's pretend we don't like each other. That'll get a bunch of press, and then we'll bring it back full circle. I don't know. Maybe that really isn't the case, but I do find it interesting that him and Tucker went from such visceral hate to, you know, what seems to be a 1-2 punch right now in terms of going up against the side of the conservative party and the Republican Party that man, the lines are being drawn. It's basically like America first versus, I don't want to say Israel first, because I don't think these Americans are necessarily Israel first. I'm talking the regular Americans. Maybe Jewish Americans might be. And again, that's their prerogative. I'm not even judging any of that. But I'm saying regular Americans that are, let's say, Christian in orientation or in religion. And really it comes down to falling under that evangelical Christian banner that really is the bread and butter of the Republican Party. I think that faction is a supporter of that Judeo-Christian mentality and mindset. And those folks, you know, kind of are standing on one side. And then you've got really another huge side of regular white America Christians and Catholics. And I will say this is being spear-led. I was about to say spear-led. Spear-led? What the heck is that? This is being led, or what's the spear word I'm looking for? Spearheaded. Oh my God, that's the word. It's being led and spearheaded by Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes and Candace to an extent. But Candace right now, I think she's running point on the Charlie Kirk stuff. Like, she is absolutely running point on everything and anything related to not believing the official narrative of Charlie Kirk. And then you've got Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes really advocating for the American government and Trump administration to, let's say, put the needs of the American people first. So that's what's going on. And it is a huge division. It is absolutely a huge division. There's battle lines being drawn. Battle lines being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people speaking their mind. That actually is true, man. Young people are speaking their mind. Holy mackerel. Guys like my boy Jeb Baugh. Jeb is great, man. Jeb is really building his social media platform. And by the way, I don't know if you've been watching these Turning Point USA events. It really started with Jeb. I mean, he was absolutely the OG young G, the OG Gen Z, young G. And his questioning of Glenn Beck led to the next one, which was, who was the next one? I believe it was Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson got questioned by kids at the Turning Point USA. And then it ended up being Eric Trump and Laura Trump, Eric and his wife Laura, and then they got grilled. Maybe I'll play that clip. Actually, I will. Let me play that clip. By the way, this is a Turning Point USA student. Bro is baritone. He's got a great voice.
I'd like to ask about your father's relationship with Israel. He's taken over $230 million from pro-Israel groups. During the summer against Iran, even though he advised against it, Israel still attacked Iran, and the U.S. still bombed on behalf of Israel. Your father's frustrations with Netanyahu have been made clear when he cursed on national TV over the situation. Israel has not been a great ally to the U.S. all the way since 1960 when they bombed the USS Liberty. Israel is a nation where Christians are constantly under attack in both Gaza and the West Bank. We talk about America first and defending Christians, but how can we do this if we align ourselves with a nation that does not do that itself?
There's no question my father's had frustration. In fact, I think he's had frustration throughout the whole conflict with both sides. At the same time,
so that was the first part of it, and then there was something about the nuclear weapon. So here's this kid's second follow-up question.
In response to the nukes from Iran, Israel has nuclear weapons and is not a part of the IAEA, unlike Iran. And it's just sad to see because I've never seen the American president get treated the way he does by the Israeli government.
I am telling you, this young Generation Z, these guys are on top of it. They really have an unbelievable knowledge of really history. And then at the same time, they don't carry, I guess, that baggage of being told a certain thing for so many years. So it's very interesting what's going to happen. I mean, that was with Eric and Laura Trump. Like I said, there was another one with Tucker Carlson. That one was equally inquisitive. Let's put it that way. I completely forgot if I talked about the one with Tucker Carlson. I'm still surprised Turning Point USA even invited Tucker, again, because what is taking place between Candace Owens and Turning Point USA, I can't say it's a direct war, although it kind of is, because the Turning Point USA organization, which again, if you don't remember or don't know, that's Charlie Kirk's former organization. Erica Kirk, Charlie's wife, is now the CEO of that organization. And for all intents and purposes, they have moved on from Charlie's assassination, and they basically seem to just kind of go with the official narrative. Now, again, maybe because of the ongoing, FBI investigation, maybe they're sort of forced to do that. I don't know. I mean, that's definitely plausible. Honestly, it really is. And you've got Candace, basically not believing that official narrative. So she's trying to find her own truth. Now that truth is in direct conflict with the way Turning Point USA is running things. But here's where the rubber is going to meet the road on that stuff. Candace has not called out Erica Kirk, Charlie's widow, at all, really. There's been a couple things she's talked about. If anything, though, collectively, I'd say she's been more, what's the word I'm looking for? She's been more appreciative of Erica. No, that's not really the word. She's been, oh my God, what word am I looking for? Complimentary. That's the damn word. She's been complimentary of Erica Kirk, which again, is very sus because her entire audience, all the people that love Candace, they're not complimentary of Erica Kirk. They think Erica has been very sus. So the fact that Candace has not gone at Erica Kirk, now, here's the flip side of that. Erica Kirk has not gone at Candace. I mean, that's surprising as well. So with those two things in play, if you listen to the episode with Ian Wendt, his theory is that Erica is Candace's mole. She's feeding Candace information behind the scenes, but in the public spotlight, she kind of has to toe the company line. I don't know, man. We'll see. That is definitely interesting. I will say, if Erica and Candace start to go at each other, then that's not in play anymore. But right now, I mean, is it plausible? Yeah, it definitely could be. I mean, I find it hard to believe with as big of an actress I feel like Erica Kirk is being every time she takes the stage or does an interview or anything. It's just so dramatic. But again, why isn't Candace calling that out? I don't know, man. That's interesting. All right, let me see what other clips I want to play for you guys. Oh, by the way, this is wild. So Candace Owens literally has the #1 podcast show in the world, supposedly. I don't really know who vets these, but 3.6 million daily downloads. Candace Owens, #1 podcast in the world. Media gatekeepers are finished. Owens is obliterating CNN, MSNBC, and every legacy outlet in the process. That is true, man. She is definitely killing it. And yeah, I guess she is the #1 podcast in the world. That's a big deal, man. That is a big deal. All right, we're going to bounce around like crazy because I've got like literally an entire phone of clips I need to play for you guys. Okay, 9/11. Building 7 is getting back into the social media mix, and oh man, I'm telling you, Pandora's box is open. All right, give this a listen. This was a recent Tucker Carlson episode.
You had 3 buildings come down, sort of collapse in on themselves, implode, it looked like. And like a lot of people have said, many credible, non-crazy people have said that was controlled demolition. Was it?
I mean, when you have 3,000 people die, you would think it would be a full massive investigation, not going after 9/11, obviously, but what happened to the buildings and why'd they come down? They're the only high-rise buildings in the world that have ever come down from an airplane hitting them. And those buildings, I read the report from the architect who designed them. They were designed to withstand an airplane hitting the building and standing tall.
I just realized this is from his episode with former Congressman Curt Weldon. So it's not that recent. This is probably 6 months ago, but for some reason this clip was like flying around Instagram again. All right, let's listen to the rest. It's actually a very interesting clip with the former Congressman Curt Weldon. I should try to get that guy on. I probably can.
And especially Building 7, which had no plane hit it. Right.
No plane hit it. And the building you can see it when you watch it on TV, it just implodes straight down. And what really got me again was Orio Palmer, the battalion chief, arising on the...
Well, tell us who he was. What is...
Okay, Orio Palmer was one of the most inspirational battalion chiefs in New York.
FDNY,
who immediately, in very good shape, had a family, a couple of kids, went into the building as soon as they got on the scene, took the elevator up to the 40th floor. Got off the elevator, and you could hear him on the comm system say, "I'm here, 40th floor. We're going to start walking up the stairwells." Every 5 floors, he radios back to communication. "I'm on the 50th floor. Everything's okay. We're on floor 60. Everything's okay." He's going up. Every so many floors, he gives a report. He reaches the 78th floor, the floor of impact. He comes out of the stair tower, and as clear as you listening to me here, and I know I get passionate, and I apologize to your listeners for that. He says, "We're on floor 78, the floor of impact. We've got 2 fires, and we can handle them." 1 minute later, the whole building collapses. That's not normal. That is not acceptable. That is not what happened.
And this is on tape?
It's on tape. The film is called Bravo 7. And if your viewers want it, if they contact you, I'll give it to you. It's free. It was produced not by Hollywood. It was produced by firefighters. And it includes the footage, including the firefighter, the footage of the firefighter communication between him and the command center. You can hear him as plain as day saying, I'm on the impact floor 78. We have 2 fires here. We can control them. And he's comfortable. He's not worrying about the building collapsing. He just walked up 38 floors and the whole building collapses. Tucker, it's a big lie.
That is wild. I will try to find that clip in that movie. Let me see if I can actually find anything in terms of that right now. All right, so check this out. Look what I found. So this firefighter, his name was Orio Palmer. And here's an interview with what looks like it's either his kids or his grandkids.
We just are so lucky to know exactly what he did that day.
Battalion 7 on floor 40 of Tower 2. We got one elevator working up to the 40th floor.
Palmer was among the first to arrive at the World Trade Center after the 9/11 attack.
There's no units here yet.
He helped repair the FDNY's malfunctioning radios, and the recordings preserved the sounds of his frantic race to save those trapped on the South Tower's upper floors.
I'm on 69 now, so we need to hire back.
In a little over a half hour, Orio Palmer climbed on foot from the 40th to the 78th floor, all while wearing some 60 pounds of firefighting gear.
Still in boy stairway, 74th floor, no smoke or fire problem.
Eventually, Palmer made it to an area where hundreds of people were struggling to stay alive.
We got 2 isolated pockets of fire. We should be able to knock it down with 2 lines.
For a helmet and like a fireman to appear in what may have seemed as a hopeless situation, I have to imagine that it was the hope that they needed.
Just 7 minutes after this transmission, the South Tower collapsed.
How powerful it is to be able to hear his voice and go through his steps.
It's kind of an amazing thing. It just is also complicated.
Definitely complicated. Man, that stuff is wild. Like, if you think about all the tragedy that took place for all those people from 9/11, I mean, obviously the ones that perished in the building and the planes and all that, that is just heartbreaking. But then all of those firefighters and EMS and emergency and all the first responders and oh my God, so many lives ruined. And then think about it. Think about what that launched. That attack launched the war on terror. It launched 20 years of forever war in Iraq and Afghanistan. You know, millions. I mean, I think like upwards of many millions of innocent civilians died in Iraq and Afghanistan. $8 trillion. Like, that's just insane. Like, it is insane. The ramifications of these events, they are coming to the forefront. I'm telling you, that's what I talk about when I say Pandora's box has been open. And, you know, people are asking questions. They're absolutely asking questions. And again, you know, let's see what those answers to those questions end up being. But I will tell you, whether it's the young generation or even the older generation, definitely Gen Z is spearheading it, and they're not having it, man. They are absolutely not having it. And these kids are going back and they're researching everything almost with like a fresh set of eyes and a clean slate. Actually, I'll give you an amazing analogy. So obviously, I've had a lot of, you know, religious discussions on the podcast. And for those of you that listened to the episode with Reverend Munther Isaac, that was honestly, I know I'm going to say it again, one of my favorite episodes. It was so good. You should watch it. I really think it was. It was really good. I thought we had a really, really enlightening, you know, religious conversation. And I'm telling you, as an outsider, I look at this stuff with fresh eyes. I really do. Like, and many times it's easier for an outsider looking in to see things. So I think what's going on with Gen Z right now and all of these situations, whether it's Ukraine, Russia, whether it's Gaza, Israel, Palestine, that area, whether it's Iran, whether it's looking back at 9/11, whether it's JFK assassination, whether it's the moon landing, whatever they're going back and analyzing, they're doing it with a fresh set of eyes and no baggage. And they're almost like, I'm talking about Gen Z, it's that outsider looking in mentality. And I'm telling you, sometimes you truly see things more clearly or clearer when you have that. And I think that's what's happening with Gen Z. Okay, anyway, I'm going to leave you with one more clip. I'm going to drive home this religious thing. And the reason I'm doing this is, honestly, I think that this division between Christians and Muslims is so manufactured. It really is. Oh my God. By the way, if any of you know any real Muslims out there, not me, I am definitely not a real Muslim. If any of you know any real Muslims, go ask them. Just ask them their opinion on Jesus. Ask them their opinion on Mother Mary. I think you're going to be incredibly blown away with their answer, and it's going to be something like this.
Jesus is in the Quran, and he's called the Messiah. Here is a truth that will shock a lot of Christians. Muslims believe in Jesus, and not just casually. In Islam, Jesus Isa in Arabic is one of the most important prophets of all time. He was born to the Virgin Mary. He performed miracles. He healed the sick. He raised the dead. And yes, he is called Al-Masih, the Messiah. That is not a typo. The Quran calls him Messiah, born without a father, sent by God, full of wisdom and power. So what is the difference? Muslims do not believe Jesus was divine. They do not believe he was crucified. They believe he was raised by God and will return at the end of time. Think about that. Islam believes Jesus is coming back, not as God, but as a sign of the final hour, to restore justice and defeat evil. So the next time someone says Islam is anti-Christian, ask them this. Why does their holy book...
All right, so again, my point of all that is that Muslims love Jesus Christ and Christians love Jesus Christ. So that seems like a pretty big thing to be on the same page about. Therefore, everything else, I'm very surprised you can't make it work. And they can. I'm telling you, every time I post something like this on the Deep Shallow Dive page, you have Christians and Muslims both professing their love for each other. It's pretty crazy, man. I'm telling you, it is crazy. It is crazy. Okay, I said we were going to jump around all over the place topics-wise, and we're absolutely going to do that. Again, here is me bringing health back into the mix, and hopefully you guys have stayed around long enough to hear this. But this is a really interesting clip from a doctor that talks about basically the signs that you should pay attention to that lead up to having a stroke. So obviously, I don't want anyone to ever have a stroke. And so maybe by learning some of the warning signs you can pay attention to what, those can be. So give this a listen.
A month before a stroke happens, your body is already sending you warning signs. Please pay attention. I'm a neurologist and I've witnessed the devastating effects of stroke firsthand. What saddens me the most is that in many cases, the body had already sent clear warning signs, but we missed them. Today, I'm here to share these signals with you. Stay alert and don't forget to remind your loved ones as well. First signal, unexplained nausea and dizziness. Patients often tell me that for weeks before coming to the hospital, they felt nauseous, lightheaded, or unbalanced, thinking it was simply caused by stress, hot weather, or lack of sleep. However, these could be symptoms of impaired blood flow to the brain. If obvious causes like pregnancy, infection, or poisoning are ruled out, getting checked by a doctor is crucial. Second signal, severe fatigue and chronic headaches. This isn't just typical fatigue, it's a relentless, overwhelming exhaustion, one that doesn't improve even with proper rest. If you're also experiencing frequent or worsening headaches, it might be an early indicator of stress on your nervous system or cellular energy metabolism. These symptoms require close attention.
That was actually very interesting. There's a second part to that. I actually will download it and then maybe I'll play that whole thing again another time. But anyway, that was definitely interesting. All right, everybody, we're coming up on 30 minutes. Anyway, again, my apologies for missing and being a little MIA. I am back, and hopefully Thursday we'll have one of these interviews to listen to, and then I'll try to come back on Friday. So maybe we will salvage 3 episodes this week. So, all right, that's it. Call a spade, call your parents, and let me know any feedback. And actually, let me know any topics you want me to really start digging into or what you want to hear moving forward. All right, everybody.
That was a great way to end it.
This episode was brought to you by Zippix Nicotine Toothpicks. Zip more, smoke less. Totally satisfying, discreet, and delicious. Zippix nicotine-infused toothpicks are available in 6 great flavors, each containing at least 2 milligrams of nicotine to curb those cravings. Zippix is FDA registered and proudly made in the USA. Use discount code DSD for 10% off your order at zippixtoothpicks.com. Zip more, smoke less, save 10%.